जो लगते कितने कम है ये तेरा मेरा फितू कह रही वो बातें तुम जो हंसते मुस्कुराते हो रही है हम जो अनजान थे हम पहले
Yeah, I'm just taking a look at the. Holy shit, dude! What is all this effects and all? I'm seeing the stream. I'm taking a look at the stream.
See that wormhole. We are able to see that wormhole
soon.
There are two people waiting. There are two people waiting.
4 waiting. I'll just say starting on the. No, below the stream, right below the stream, it says how many people are watching now. Yeah, just start.
So guys, we are live now. So is the video proper? Is the video and everything proper? Chat, just
I'm
tell
still
me.
hearing the song.
Just tell me if the audio and video everything is proper.
Someone say yes.
Yeah. Faraz,
oh, dude.
Yeah, if you are watching the stream, just tell me that it's proper.
I think I'm watching the stream and I think there's an issue with the webcam. Both of our webcams.
Both of your webcams are not there? Yeah, it's the same issue. Wait, I'll solve this. Yeah, now is it proper?
We have to wait for some 10-15 seconds. There will be a lag.
Okay. Now is it proper now? I think it's proper now.
Yeah. This is.
Yeah, now
we are live after so many technical difficulties and so much of hustle. We are finally live, and we are so sorry that we are like so late. We created a hype 1 week prior to the live, and
yeah, dude.
So welcome to our stream. Today we have a big discussion. It's going to be amazing. It's a discussion about Sadhguru, and today we'll see the Sadhguru's content or Sadhguru's arguments and his thoughts with two lenses. We'll see it through a science perspective, we'll see through philosophy perspective, and let me welcome, what's the name? Let me welcome Pranav from Science is Dope, and Faraz from Identity Faraz.
Thank you, Dinesh.
Pranav works as in education, physics. I think so. He teaches for physics or something. And
yeah.
Identity for us, you know him. We have done a live stream. So guys, let's start.
I'm an architecture student.
Yeah. He is an architecture student. So let's start with this one question. Like, how did you guys encounter Sadhguru? Like, when was the first time you guys encountered Sadhguru?
I think before we start off, I think we'll also say that both me and Faraz, we have our own YouTube channels also. And I focus mostly on science topics, mainly busting pseudoscience and such videos. And Faraz, you want to talk?
My channel is all about self-help, and basically I started with mental health. Now I've progressed towards self-help and personal development and philosophies. Slowly I'm transitioning towards philosophy, more of philosophy and psychology. So that's it. You can go and check it out. It's some good content.
Yeah. So as of now, I haven't posted the links to their channel, but as soon as the stream is done, I will post the link, and you guys can check out their content. It's it's amazing. So for the context, a few days back, I saw this one video which of Pranav, which says that Sadhguru is Captain Pseudoscience, and that's the reason I named this series as Sadhguru is Captain Pseudoscience. Like I was puzzled by this because I went a whole circle from being a Sadhguru, uh, like a blind follower of Sadhguru, to being a little bit skeptic. And this stream, I'm just going to see what would be the conclusion. Like we'll see Sadhguru's thoughts from science perspective, how much validity they hold. Okay, so with this we'll start the stream, and I would like to ask you guys that when did you guys encounter Sadhguru for the first time, and how? Pranav, you
Should I go
answer first.
first?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I first heard the name Sadhguru in 2015 or 16, maybe 16 probably. A friend of mine mentioned that she was going to his ashram in
Yeah.
Coimbatore.
Yeah.
That's when I first heard of Sadhguru. I didn't pay much attention to it, and then I mainly noticed him on YouTube
Yeah.
because his videos were getting really famous.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I watched a couple of them, and immediately it struck to me how much uh, pseudoscience this guy was propelling. So the thing is, he has a lot of advice and a lot of principles that he tells his followers and everything. And all of that has a basis. And that basis for many of the advices he gives, the basis is the science he says. The only thing is, the science he says is established false. Is not even true facts.
Okay.
I think we'll come across many examples as
Many
this
examples.
string
Yeah.
goes
Yeah.
on.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the most famous thing, famous pseudoscientific thing he has professed is he says that you're not supposed to eat during an eclipse, during a lunar eclipse, and I
Yeah.
have this in my video
We'll
also.
come on that. We'll come on that.
Yeah, sure.
Faraz bhai, you tell us, like, when was the first time you discovered Sadhguru, and what was your first reaction on that?
So I used to watch the podcast of these English men, the podcast wave, from where the podcast wave has started, and I was following them, and I saw this guy, this long bearded guy, long bearded guy in that typical mystical attire, and I was wondering who this gentleman is, and I I just went on and I saw his channel. I was struggling with depression
Hmm.
quite a bit. I was struggling with depression, but I was really very confused between depression and anxiety. What's the
Yeah.
main difference between depression and anxiety? And
Yeah.
and the things which I heard, the experiences which I heard, somewhere or the other, I resonated with his content, not to that of an extent, but somewhere or the other I resonated with his content, and I agreed with his content on the base the philosophical things which he said and the experiences which he shared. So that is what gelled me and him together. So that's how I found him. And
Yep. So
I'll
yeah.
also
Yeah.
just add one more thing.
Hmm.
I understand that a lot of people find Sadhguru and the messages he says, I understand a lot of people find it helpful. And if you find it helpful, if it's useful for you, I think more power to you, for sure. I don't want to come in the way of any of that. But the reasonings he gives for some of the things, some of the ways that you should do some things, don't assume he's true. He's correct because a lot of the basis he uses is just plain wrong. That's my argument. I hope I was clear.
Exactly. I mean, like it's nothing wrong to follow his advice, but some of his advice are too extreme, which is very difficult to follow. And we will break down each and every aspect where he has given advice and which is too extreme, and we'll break it down step by step. So before that, I would like to say that how I discovered Sadhguru. So, as Faraz bhai, I also discovered Sadhguru say with his podcast. I think so. It was Tommy Billew's podcast. He's a Western creator, and he generally brings very good people. And in this podcast, he told one line that if your energy systems are managed in such a way that you'll be able to do things which people take 10 years to do. So this one line attracted me, and I joined his course. And before joining his course, I saw multiple videos, and he used to describe this one system, inner engineering. So I was very dazzled by this one system. I thought this is some sort of magic, and I joined his inner engineering program. And I would like to say it was a best experience. Like I'm also making a video on that, like what was my experience and all. But one thing I realized, there wasn't anything magical in it, because in the videos he say that you'll surpass a biological level, and your body's capacity will be increasing. And in the course itself, it's very realistic. It's very very realistic, and it's I don't know, I don't have enough words to it. So the very first point that we have to take into consideration are his extreme advices about the diet that he gives. There's a there's a diet called as positive pranic diet, where he says that you shouldn't be eating onion, you shouldn't be eating garlic and brinjal, or obviously every or non-veg food. And his reasoning for that is that this reduces your body's energy first, and if you eat another animal, the emotions that the animal has while he is getting killed gets transferred to your body. So I would like to listen to the science perspective on this. Like,
Yeah. So first of all, there is absolutely no scientific basis to any of what you just said, and I don't know what is pranic. Uh, uh, like, there's no scientific concept
yeah,
behind
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Uh, I think prana and chi and energy, all these things come under the same
basic.
umbrella. They are
Yeah,
all concepts from Chinese medicine or Indian
exactly,
medicine,
exactly, exactly.
and these are all like the principles that these are all based on. They're all pseudoscientific. None of those, they are already experimented and researched, and none of those have any actual basis. Now that doesn't mean none of these medicines work. There are some medicines in Ayurveda that do work. There are some medicines in Chinese medicine that do work. I've done a video on Ayurveda. I think if you watch that, you will get a better idea.
Okay.
But the thing to remember here is that the principles that these are based on are not scientific. They have absolutely no basis in science. Now, regarding the non-veg food and everything, I happened to watch his video,
Huh.
and he says that plants are simple, are easy for our bodies to break down and
Yeah.
digest. Animals, however, they are complex. Their cells, their what they're made of is complex. They have closer genetic material in the cells, which makes it harder to digest.
Yeah.
Now, all this sounds very scientific. There are many scientific terms here, but none of this makes any scientific sense. So you have to understand why this is like the very definition of pseudoscience. It has the resemblance of science, but has no basis in
Yeah.
science. So now I'll just give you an example for why this is wrong. If you do you know that cows have four
Just a sec,
stomachs?
Pranav bhai, just a sec.
Yeah, sure.
So I'm not able to see the chat. So Faraz bhai, if you are seeing the chat, just see, because after every aspect, we are going to take the opinions of the people whoever is texting on the chat and has a relevant opinion. We are going to take that and discuss about it. So yeah, you can continue, Pranav bhai.
Yeah. So I was saying,
About cow.
so yeah, take an animal like a cow
Yeah.
or a deer or any sort of hoofed mammal. These are all herbivores, but they have very complex digestive systems compared to carnivores.
Yeah.
Um, this is because they have a four-chambered stomach. You can look this up. So the reason for this is the food they eat, the cellulose contained in plant material that they eat,
Hmm.
cellulose takes is very hard to digest. So they have a much longer digestive tract, so that this material actually goes through the chemical breakdown process and all that.
Okay.
Now we tried using cellulose,
Hmm.
like Sadhguru. He says that we are meant to be vegetarian, but if we eat plant material that contains cellulose, like
Yeah.
say grass or some tree branches or leaves or whatever raw,
Yeah. Yeah.
we won't be able to digest it at all. No carnivore will be able to digest it, and in that respect, I would say that a lot of animal meat is much simpler in chemical composition
Oh,
compared to
is it?
plant
Oh.
material like cellulose.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's easier for carnivores to digest. And
Okay.
he says one more thing: beings that things that are evolutionarily further away from you are the best to eat.
Yeah.
And by that definition, you should eat fishes because they're water creatures. They are evolutionarily
So,
furthest away from you.
so yes,
Now the
like,
fact is,
so like,
now the
in,
fact. Wait, I'll just
yeah, yeah,
finish
yeah,
this.
yeah.
I'll just finish this. The fact is, fishes are closer evolutionarily to humans than plants.
Oh.
Plants don't even, like, if you look at the evolutionary classification
Uh-huh.
and all these things,
Okay.
plants don't even come in the same category as fishes and humans. So I mean, the video if you watch, if you're not very scientifically inclined,
Yeah.
you would think, oh, this is well researched, this guy is very knowledgeable. But
Yeah.
the fact is, if you even understand evolutionary biology a little bit, you'll know that he's just saying all sorts of things that make no
So,
sense.
so he's just using the jargons of science as they
Yep,
use in any science fiction movie, and we,
yep,
yeah, we think that this character is very scientific. It's very knowledgeable, as it happens in any science fiction movie. He's doing it reality. So in
yep.
their
No.
website, I noticed one thing that they have said that fish is allowed to eat, even if you don't, don't, even if you are not allowed to eat any other non-veg animal, uh, anything non-veg, but fish is allowed. Yeah, Faraz, continue.
Dinesh, what Pranav Bhai has said, he has very correctly pointed out that Sadhguru is using some what we call as BS,
Okay.
explanations, and his approach is quite wrong. But I, a couple of years ago, I had been studying this water consciousness by Masaru Emoto. If Pranav Bhai, you know about it,
Yeah, he has
Yeah, I've
mentioned.
made a
the water
video.
experiment, and
Yeah,
I didn't
I'm.
believe in that water experiment, but then I searched up this Max Planck Institute conducted a research on water, on this. Masaru Emoto was not a scientist, he was a pseudoscientist, but his experiments were quite baffling, and were quite, people, the scientists were quite amazed to see the results of the experiments. And for people who don't know what the experiment was, there he kept couple of glasses of water, and on one he yelled all all the curse words in the world he can find, and he yelled at the glass of water, and on the other one he spoke compassion, words full of compassion. And then when he took the droplets under the microscope, there was very bizarre results. On one slide on which he yelled bad words or curse words, the water molecules, the water particles were really very distorted. The crystallization of water was really very distorted, and on the other slide it was very beautifully structured.
Okay.
Now scientists were backing his research. Some were saying no, we cannot, we there is no scientific evidence that can back this research. But then Max Planck Institute in Mainz, there is this research paper, and they said that the structural memory of water persists on a picosecond time scale, which has been published in the Journal of Nature Communications. And what they concluded is there are specific local memories and information that is yet to be discovered, and there are many there is much of information in water that humans have still not discovered. And as our body is made up of 70% water, so somewhere or the other these negative vibrations might affect you, because Nikola Tesla, who was a great scientist, also used to say that if you want to understand the secrets of the universe, you should speak in terms of vibrations and frequencies. Somewhere or the other, science cannot explain something. We are still on the brinch, or on the extent of explaining things, but still we are lagging behind somewhere or the other, which has been proved by the Max Planck Institute. So that is what I would like to say here.
Okay, so like I haven't read any researches, as I told you that I'm very skeptical about Sadhguru, and here's why. So I have a very uh, logical way of reasoning this. When he says in this video that we humans are built in certain way, that we are herbivorous, so he says that every human is made for eating veg, right? Every human is made for eating veg. But then we have people like Jordan Peterson, Michaela Peterson, these guys, and there are a set of people who are like curing their depression and their
Mhm.
autoimmune diseases with eating carnivore diet, like only diet based on beef, chicken, or everything that's non-veg, right? So the question arises that how are these guys not facing any issue and when they're eating non-veg, right? So
Mhm.
that's where Sadhguru's arguments get questionable, because when he makes this universal statement that every human on this earth is made to eat a vegetarian diet, we are herbivore, then how these creatures, like these people, exist?
What Sadhguru is missing here is he's trying to explain these points for the vast majority of population who are not embarking on that deep spiritual journey on which Sadhguru is. We as humans, if Pranav bhai, I also eat non-veg, I also eat chicken, mutton, everything, but we cannot tell the subtle difference between the
but
foods.
but the thing is that people like Michaela Peterson, if you watch the podcast, what she's saying is uh, a single day when she put a veg substance, maybe she just ate oranges, and it caused severe diarrhea to her, and many medical repercussions were created in her body. So for
Mhm.
them it's about survival. So uh, her arthritis got aggravated after eating veg food, so in that case she's not made for veg food, right? And the problems are
Yeah.
getting solved when she is eating carnivore diet.
Mm.
Their bodies have
So
evolved, I believe. Their bodies have evolved according to the region which they are living in.
So
There's
So
let me just, yeah, I think both of you raised a lot of points. I'll try and address all of them. Just let me know if I didn't address any point.
yeah.
So mainly, I'm gonna first talk about what Faraz spoke about Masaru Emoto's experiments on water memory and everything,
Yeah,
and then I'll come to carnivore diets and veg diets and all these
yeah, yeah,
things.
yeah.
So firstly, Masaru Emoto. So I've made two videos criticizing pseudoscience from Sadhguru, and in the first video, he touched upon water memory. Like I just have one sentence where I say that there is no scientific evidence for water memory.
at 10 minutes 16 seconds, yes.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
in my second video, I elaborated that a lot. Uh,
Okay.
there are two scientists who did experiments on water memory, or at least two researchers that are famous. The first one is Masaru Emoto, as you said, and the
Yeah.
second one is Luc Montagnier, who was a Nobel Prize winning. He won the Nobel Prize for the discovery of HIV, which
Oh,
is a
yeah,
big
yeah,
achievement.
exactly.
That is the second scientist. Now,
Mm-hmm.
Masaru Emoto's experiments. Now, whenever you do an experiment, see, I can just claim that I did an experiment and I found out that watching TV is bad for my eyes.
Yeah.
Maybe all I did was I watch TV maybe every night, and then in maybe a few months, I started wearing spectacles. Now, if I publish a research based on this, and there are people that will analyze the research and see how it was done and how those conclusions were made. That is called a peer review.
Yeah.
Now, when the same peer review happened for Masaru Emoto's experiment, the conclusions were that his experiment was not properly done. It didn't have proper controls, and the way he did the experiments itself was done in a way that made it very prone to error. So the conclusions, that's the reason it never passed peer review. Emoto's experiments never passed peer review, and that's why it is not taken as an evidence for watermelon. Okay, the same can be said of Luc Montagnier's experiment. That also did not pass peer review. Even though the guy is a very established scientist, this particular research did not pass peer review, so it didn't get published in any reputed journal. The only journal that it did get published in, Luc Montagnier himself was the chairman of the editorial board. So you can see like if he had to be chairman to get his research published in a journal, you can see like there's a conflict of interest there, right? So for these reasons, that is also not accepted as evidence of water memory. Now, if there is proper legitimate evidence for water memory that passes peer review, science would accept it with open arms, because this is something new. This is groundbreaking in like all our understandings of everything, all chemistry and everything breaks down on this, and we'll be more than happy to understand, okay, why do we think this way? Okay, what are the reasons? We'll do new experiments taking into account this finding. Lots of such things will happen. Now, you also mentioned Max Planck Institute's research. I'm not very familiar with that, although I'll take a look at it after this call. I'm not very familiar with that, but if there is proper scientific evidence of water memory, we know, I mean, it'll be published, it'll be groundbreaking. It won't be a niche, controversial subject.
Yeah, they have not they have not concretely solidified their statement, but what they have said in the journal is they have just said that there are some specific local memories on a picosecond time scale, and it is yet to be discovered. Period.
I'll take a look at it in detail before commenting further, but yeah, that's basically about water memory. Now about carnivore diets or vegetarian diets. See, it's been noticed that when people drastically change their diet, like if me, I'm an omnivore, if I start eating only veg, that is a drastic change in the chemical composition of the food I take. So generally, whatever diseases I have that are associated with the foods that I'm no longer eating, those tend to get resolved. Now, what happened with Peterson and all these people who ate carnivore diets? See, one reason a lot of autoimmune diseases are associated with vegetarian foods is because, see, there's a protein in wheat called gluten, which the human body cannot digest very well. So,
I feel Faraz is frozen.
He's not frozen for me.
Like in OBS, it's frozen.
Can you see me now?
Still frozen?
Yeah.
Faraz, just move your...
in OBS, he's frozen. I don't know. You just continue. I'll try to...
Yeah, I'll just finish that one. So the same way, when someone switches entirely to a vegan diet, they will have health resolutions, some conditions which resolve themselves because of the absence of one type of food.
Okay.
That tends to happen even among vegans. So you'll find a lot of vegans professing health benefits of vegan food. You'll find a lot of carnivores professing health benefits of carnivore food. It's more likely that they'll have health resolutions due to drastic changes in diets rather than one particular diet doing one thing for them. Now, there are videos on YouTube of doctors commenting on carnivore diets and vegan diets, and there is no scientifically accepted uh, uh, like statement or base, or there's no scientifically accepted basis for either carnivore or vegan diets. Not that I know of. I don't know if there are any, but as far as I know, there are.
Fine. At the end of the day, Pranav bhai, it boils down to the individual's choice,
Yeah,
what
yeah,
he or
for
she
sure.
chooses to be. If you want to go towards a path of compassion, if you don't want to take the life of an animal, what basically I heard someone saying, I don't know his name. I forgot his name. He was saying that the more neurologically complex an animal is, the more pain it will feel. That is what
Mhm.
it is. So if you are killing something just for the sake of if you're killing for it for pleasure's sake, then you shouldn't do that. But it boils down to the individual's choice whether
Yeah.
you should take that or
I
not,
think
because
at this point,
I've tried both vegan diet
mm,
also for a week or two. I've tried this our
carnivore.
carnivore diet also, and I'm a carnivore. I can't stay away from non-veg. I am into spirituality and stuff, not that much, but I cannot stay away because I have tried this, and you have really very low energy levels when you are on a vegan diet, vegan or a total vegetarian diet. What happens is you get bloating, immense bloating. I don't know why. It's because of the large amounts of carbohydrate. It causes gastric, and when you are on this carnivore diet with a balance of your vegan diet or vegetarian diet, your energy levels are just beyond your expectations.
I think one more thing that I
but
should say
but
here is,
but here
see,
the thing is that he says that he generalize everyone, like every human being, and
yeah,
he says that it's suitable for everyone, right? But
Mhm.
then there are people with lactose intolerance which who can't eat dairy products. There are people like Michaela Peterson, and I'm again bringing the same point because the moment they try vegetarian food, they face huge, like the physiological differences, right? So if you say that everyone it suits, then it's just neglecting some set of audience. That's all my point is.
yeah.
Because
I was about to say that.
even in your point, Faraz, you said that if you avoid certain side of food, you'll feel high energy, right? But then certain audience which is not feeling that high energy. That's all my point is.
Mm.
So I was also about to say the same thing. So one person's experience cannot be generalized as evidence of something working.
Hmm.
We term it as anecdotal if it's just one person or a couple of people. We term such evidence as anecdotal evidence, and that never, I mean, you cannot conclude generalized statements from anecdotal evidence. You need more statistical evidence.
Mhm.
Yeah. No, and Pranav bhai, what would you say about things he mentions, like the facts he
But
mentioned about onion and garlic? Like
mm,
he says that,
so
yeah.
these things, if you look at Ayurveda in general, there are certain foods that are categorized as having negative energy,
Tamasic,
some
tamasic.
as having, yeah, some as having positive energy. Um, that has again no basis in science.
Hmm, hmm, hmm.
So if he does, if there is some basis to me, my camera
Yeah,
just went off.
your camera just went off. Faraz, I
Okay,
think so.
right?
We have you, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah,
Wait, am I visible now?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
You're
you're visible,
visible. You're
Pranav bhai.
visible.
Okay. So, I mean, you can make a claim. I mean, there might be something I've never come across. So just show it to me. But as far as I've read, there is no scientific basis for saying that onions or garlic
Okay.
they have any kind of negative energy. This energy itself, energy in foods itself, is pseudoscientific. That concept itself is
Pranav bhai, I
pseudoscientific.
had this one thing. I read it somewhere on
Hmm.
some Reddit post or something. I want to
Sure.
I want to know your take on this.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's if it should be taken into consideration or not. There was a discussion going around astrology, okay?
Mhm.
And in astrology, people believe, I don't believe in astrology that much, but people believe in the movement of stars and movement of planets, right? So one guy came up with an answer that the gravitation of moon can affect the tides on Earth, the
Mhm.
tidal effect on Earth, then
Mhm.
the human body is made up of 70% water. It is comprised of
Mhm.
70% water. Can't isn't that possible on a very
That
on a
it can
very
affect.
yeah
I
on a
get,
very
I get
basic
the
level,
question.
can't it affect the human body because it is made of 70% water? I didn't
Okay.
go in depth that much, but what's your take on this, Pranav bhai?
So the reason the moon affects water in the oceans or tides is
Hmm.
because of gravitation.
Okay.
True.
When you have, I I think it'll be better if I show you on a video, but you can maybe after the call you can check it out in video.
Yeah,
So
sure.
what these tidal forces? They're basically just gravitational forces. What
Hmm.
they do is they
Hmm.
whatever the moon can pull towards itself, it would actually pull the solid material of Earth
Hmm.
towards itself if it could. But water being easier to move than solid, something solid, is what responds to the moon's gravitational force, which is why water bodies easily move uh, because of the tide.
Okay.
Solid bodies. So now solid, there are moons like Titan of Saturn, or you can take any moon of Jupiter, Io or Callisto. These have such tidal forces because of the planet Jupiter, because it's much larger. It exerts a lot of gravitational force, right? They have such huge tidal forces acting on them that these moons, the solid material of these moons, themselves act like oceans.
Okay.
Like they're not watery in the same way oceans are, but they move because of tidal forces. So the solid material itself moves because of tidal forces, and that causes like the solid itself is moving and rubbing against itself, right?
Yeah.
That causes something known as tidal heating.
Hmm.
Now, my point is, the moon's gravitation is only so strong that water, only water generally gets affected. It's pulling on solid material on our bodies too. But the strength of this material, the strength of the solid material of my body is so much stronger that the gravitational force the moon exerts on me.
So it's the force
So
is
even
pretty
if
Equal and
negligible.
opposite reaction. You mean to say it's an equal and opposite force inside our body which is trying to put it in equilibrium.
not an equal and opposite force, see,
So
let's
I would say Pranab is trying to say that the force from the moon is pretty negligible, right?
Hmm. In comparison to the
Huh.
material strength of the material of our bodies,
Hmm.
or take anything, take any solid material,
Okay.
the material strength of that solid is stronger than the gravitational strength of the force exerted by the moon.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, the water in our bodies is not in the same way as it is in oceans. In the oceans, it's in a form that flows. It's in a fluid form, right?
Yeah.
You don't have water in our bodies in that form. So
Hmm.
when the moon pulls on you, it doesn't specially apply any force on the water. It applies the same force over the whole of you. In fact, it applies the same force over the whole of Earth. The only thing that responds is a huge body of water, namely the oceans. So your body won't respond because water is not present in the body in your body the way it is present in the oceans.
Outside.
Hmm.
So yeah, astrology has been
This
put
is
to
what
new.
this is what I read on a Reddit post. I was very skeptical on this, so I just wanted to take a expert
Science
opinion.
opinion.
Yeah,
Yeah,
expert
I
opinion.
hope I hope you understood from my answer.
Yeah.
And Dinesh, keep an eye on the chat also.
I am not
Some
keeping. I am not keeping. As I said that I am not able to see the chat.
okay. Some couple
Okay,
So
of people
that's the
are.
reason I
let's
told you.
pause for the
So let's
yeah. Let's
ask
pause
people
for the chat.
what's their opinion on this stuff. Do you have any good arguments in live chat?
They have good equations in the live chat.
Oh shit! Like this audience is coming from science is dope. I
G
feel.
Q1 Q2 R2 by R2. It's G M1 M2 by R2.
Not Q1, Q2. Q1, Q2 is charge.
Yeah, that's if you take the Coulomb's equation, it'll be K Q1 Q2 by R squared.
Uh,
That, yeah.
Yeah.
Gravitational forces G M1 M2
So
M2 by
so
R.
I want your opinion, both of your opinion on this one point that anyone who's like who's into yoga and spirituality says that uh, this the ancient knowledge is way more ahead than modern science, right? And science has a lot to discover, which is true, but it is way more ancient knowledge is much more powerful than modern science. So what's your opinion on this?
So I'll speak. So here my entire channel is around this topic. So I think, see, if you're from a culture and there is some information that your ancestors had a lot of scientific advancements in their times,
Yeah.
you, I mean, you would wish that. See, it's wishful thinking to say that our ancestors were so scientifically advanced. Ooh, look at me. My ancestors were so advanced. 2000 years back, they had airplanes and shit. What
Yeah.
did your ancestors have, bruh?
Yeah.
Huh? Like that's it's very childish to think that way. Now, I'm not saying that this is false. I'm saying that if it's true, don't believe it on the basis of visual thinking. Believe it on the basis of evidence. If you have reasonable evidence to think the way you think, then go ahead. More power to you. But
Yeah.
if you don't have evidence on if you're not basing what you're thinking on evidence, then you're just wishful. That's all I have to say. Now, this is not to say that we didn't have great achievements. I've made videos on Aryabhatta. I've made videos
Uh,
on how great Shushruta was. He actually performed plastic surgery using the principles he knew. And back then, Ayurveda as a system of medicine was way more advanced than anything else in the world.
राष्ट्राच्या मध्ये नाही देऊ शकत मी.
But today you can't say that. That's yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
That's
was looking into some historical aspect of these the other day. On the
Just a
sayings
sec,
on
just a
the
sec. Like Faraz bhai, like I'll be back in a moment. My video will be off for a while.
okay,
yeah. Yeah.
okay.
We'll just
Wait
talk
for a while.
till
Yeah,
then.
yeah, yeah. Faraz, you can
Yeah.
continue.
That's,
So Pranav bhai, I was looking at
hmm.
some historical things, historical scriptures, manuscripts, and all these Vedas and all. And in this, they said this one thing that right. So our cells break down and repair, or break down and reproduce. So not reproduce, break down and form new cells every second, every millisecond. They are forming and destroying. They are forming and destroying. So this was, I was I was reading this on some online forum only, and this is what they were claiming, that this was spoken of 2000, 3000 years ago, or 4000 years ago, or even by Gautam Buddha. So is it true? Is it true what they are saying, that what
I
science has
think
discovered some a couple of centuries back,
I'll
or
tell.
even say 50 years back, which has been proven by science, people saw it 2000 or 3000 years ago?
See, the concept of a cell is something we had only after we invented the microscope. We had no idea that we were made of these individual
Hmm.
units that you could call cells.
Hmm.
Now, Buddha or whoever, wherever you read with the Vedas or whatever, they might have said something similar, but people take it today, and
Hmm.
based on our knowledge, our scientific knowledge today, they'll interpret the verses in a way that makes a lot of scientific sense in today's science. Back then, I'm sure whoever came up with all of these said it in a way that made a lot of sense back then. And they probably never mentioned cells at all. But the verses, in my, from a lot of examples that I can give you, the verses are generally interpreted in a way that is extremely favorable for the Vedas. So it sounds as if it's very scientifically. The people who wrote the Vedas were very scientifically advanced. They knew about cells. They knew about atoms. I'll give you one example. So they say that Kanada Maharshi was the first person who discovered the atom.
Yeah.
That's not true. He talked about like if you keep breaking down matter, you will reach one indivisible unit of all matter.
Yeah.
Now that sounds very like the modern concept of the atom.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. Yeah.
So people will make the conclusion that Kanada Maharshi discovered the atom. When that is like stretching it, right? That statement, the interpretation of the statement has been stretched to him actually making the discovery of the atom. In today's world, the atom is not indivisible. That's one thing.
Yeah.
Two is no one has really seen the atom. There are you need something like an electron microscope to see something of that level. So whatever you see using an electron microscope, the reason you need an electron microscope is because, human eyes are sensitive to light of the wavelength that's around 700 nanometers. One atom is much smaller than 700 nanometers. It's of the order of like 10 raised to minus 10 meters.
Okay.
So you cannot see an atom using visible light, which is the only thing our eyes can see. So that's why you need an electron microscope, because the electron's wavelength is similar to the size of the atom.
Yeah.
Now, whatever the electron, so generally things that are seen using an electron microscope, they tend to get translated, I would say, in a way that human eyes can perceive them. So they get translated into corresponding visuals using visible light.
Okay.
That's what we see. So no one has really seen the atom. No one can see the atom.
So what we are trying to say here is that the people who wrote these Vedas and all, they were scientifically more advanced.
No, I'm not saying that. So they're not advanced. If you use modern science, how much science is advanced now, if you use that as the
level of an atom or a cell, it's a very it should it is somewhere or the other.
It's reconnecting again. Yeah.
Am I not visible?
I think your question is you're visible.
Okay.
I think your question is like, if you are making such a claim seems very far-fetched if they didn't know
very
all
far-fetched.
this. Yeah.
Like couple of 100 years ago, we didn't know about atoms.
Yeah.
How atoms are. We were taking the watermelon experiment and doing all those that atoms are like embedded inside the watermelon, and we didn't know. And how these people 4,000, 5,000 years ago claiming some absolute truths.
So the thing is, the statements they made were not so specific that when you look at them today, they resemble modern understandings of the atom perfectly. They made vague statements back then, which have been interpreted by people today based on whatever other knowledge they have. They'll also have modern scientific knowledge, and based on that understanding, when they try to interpret what they said back then, if you use those lenses to judge what they said, you'll see it as very advanced. But I'm sure what they said was very vague if you compare it with today's modern science. I'm sure he said something like when you divide everything, you will reach an indivisible unit, which is a very advanced concept back then. But you can't say that is the same as the modern concept of the atom. It's similar, but it's not the same because that's a very exact scientific claim. If you're making such an exact claim, then you have to back it up with something more credible than just the vague statement of whatever the claim was. I'm not discount, but don't think that I'm discounting every claim they make. Can you hear me?
The thing is that you both are frozen. Both of your cameras are frozen.
Let me check. Yeah, did you maximize your this thing?
No, it just happened right now, but your camera was frozen long back.
Oh,
Just try to reset
I
your
think in the
cameras.
call we are fine, right? You can see me in the call.
No, I can't see you in the call also. Just reset your camera.
Oh, damn. 1 second.
Even you, Faraz.
What should I do?
Reset your camera. Maybe turn it off and then on.
Okay, 1 minute. Am I visible now? No.
So guys, whoever is present in the live, I'm so sorry for this technical glitches. Actually, what happened is this is my first live. Like before this, Vaibhav was handling everything and he was doing a great job at it. I'm just learning this.
Is this better? I think both me and Faraz are visible in the call. I think it's something wrong with your.
Maybe my internet because I'm not able to see your cameras.
Just minimize your OBS.
Yeah, it's minimized. But
minimize and then reset it again.
But I'm not able to see you in the call itself.
Why don't you just disconnect from the call and reconnect?
Okay.
See if that happens.
But then stream will be on, buddy.
Yeah, that's okay, I think. Oh, wait. Yeah, I think that should be okay. Just the call you reconnect. Leave the stream on.
I am not an ardent Sadhguru fan. I do not watch his videos. I do not follow him. But what my philosophy is very simple and straightforward, which is the raw filter philosophy. I do not put any compassionate or any rainbow filters in my philosophy. My philosophy is look at the world how it is in the most primitive and the most raw form possible. And my thought is no school of thought, which is not following any spiritual, any religious, any leader, any sort of leader. So I follow my own intuition. That's what I am up for. So don't take me to be an ardent Sadhguru fan who's gonna support him here. I just vibe with his content a little bit, the tips which he gives, because anyone who is with his work, if anyone is saving someone's life, then it's a blessing. So there is no harm in. But if you cross lines, what Pranab bhai is trying to say, if you get too much into that zone and you start crossing lines, by crossing lines I mean that you start persuading people in some things which might be true, might not be true, then you should not follow that guy. Follow that guy on an intuitive basis to take some lessons.
I think I should be a little more clearer. See, whenever here's what Sadhguru or anyone like him usually does. They usually have the conclusion they want to reach beforehand, and then they'll find reasons that support this conclusion. They'll find reasons that help you reach this conclusion, and
Yeah.
then start saying those reasons. Therefore, you should go to this conclusion. So, whenever I see him or anyone saying such statements, I usually, I mean, there's a part of me that just wants to call this out.
So like
So that's all.
I have one point like which would like disagree with Faraz's point. You said that you have no problem with Sadhguru's idea because he's trying to save someone's life. But then
Mhm,
if you again consider that Michaela Peterson's example, and if she is
mhm,
blind follower of Sadhguru, it can harm her
mhm.
life more than like aiding her life, right? Like because if she is avid follower of Sadhguru, she would follow that vegetarian diet, and no matter what is happening to her body, she'll still follow that diet. So in that way, it could be harmful for her.
Yeah, then you are making a complete fool of yourself. If you are a mature, you are a person who is mature enough to understand what the body is, the what the requirement of your body is. If you are following, it has happened in Brazil also. There was, I don't know, Pranab bhai, if you know, that there was some mystic in Brazil who claimed that taking cyanide and something,
Oh
that
my
mass
God.
suicide, which took
Oh
place.
yeah, Jonestown massacre, right?
Yes, that
Um,
massive massacre.
yeah, I know him. Yeah,
He
he,
enclosed hundreds of people, and
yeah, dude.
claim that you will get some sort of enlightenment or something. That is foolishness at its peak. But
Yeah,
you should follow a person up to a level where you think it's helping you, not going against you. If Michaela Peterson is, that's what her name is, I believe,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Michaela
Yeah,
Peterson.
yeah,
If she is seeing that sticking to a all vegetarian diet is harming her body, is harming her bowel movements, is harming anything in her body, then she should stop it right away. She
yeah.
should not be, no, Sadhguru said this, Sadhguru ne kaha hai, I will be doing this, even till, even
Even if she
till my
dies,
death.
yeah.
Then that is some sort of
Foolishness, yeah.
religion. If
Yeah,
you are
yeah, yeah.
forcing something on yourself, that is religion.
So
That is not intuition.
that's the
Yeah.
ground reality. That's what's happening with the Sadhguru followers. Like they have lost their ability to logically reason, and
Hmm.
it's almost like if you talk to any person from which is connected to Isha Foundation, it's like Sadhguru said that you have to stay awake in on Mahashivratri, right? They stay awake. They say that hell with their sleep.
Pranab bhai, we can't hear you.
Since Sadhguru has
yeah,
said,
guys. I said I'll just be back. Just give me 1 second, okay?
Yeah,
I have.
sure,
yeah.
Pranab.
So since Sadhguru has said that you have to stay awake on Mahashivratri night, we will stay awake. Yeah. So this is what
So that
this
is
do.
what the thing is. Sadhguru should clear this, that this is no religion.
Hmm, hmm, hmm.
What he is here for is to let people
But
know.
but you
Yeah, yeah.
here what Sadhguru does. He makes his point, and then he attaches that points to your well-being. That means this is not religion. You are free to do whatever you want, but Sadhguru says that this will be good for your body, and anything else apart from this will be bad or harmful for your body. So if you won't wake up on Mahashivratri, right, what happens is some sort of energy is lost from your body, and these are not my words. These are exact Sadhguru's words, which I am using
Mhm.
right now. So this
At the end of
makes
the day,
people,
where I
yeah.
disagree with Sadhguru is he's following a god. He's following Lord Shiva. He's trying to be someone through his attire. He's trying to Pranab bhai, we are slowly somewhere or the other we are trying to put in philosophical things in this too.
Hmm.
Yeah,
So when you are trying to appear like someone, when you are trying to portray yourself as someone, as a mystic, be it a mystic, you are wearing
Hmm.
that, what shawl or what
Hmm.
he wears, and that turban that he wears, and that beard that he's keeping,
Hmm.
then that's no spirituality. That's the end of spirituality right
by the
there.
way, what you just said, do you know what he's actually doing? See, if you look at ads selling, there were products like the Ab King Pro, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Like it'll help you get ripped six-pack abs,
Yeah.
and there'll be guys advertising it. They'll be doing exercises on the machine
Yeah.
with. They'll have ripped six-pack abs, and you think if you use the product, you will be like them.
Exactly.
That
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's exactly the
naruto.com.
same thing.
So
It's
Naruto.com.
exactly
so
the same thing that these mystics do. They dress a certain way. They dress like an enlightened person, and whatever they say, if you listen to them and do as they say, you will feel like you'll become like them. You'll become enlightened. So that's a sort of vice they're trying to create in their mind. That's it.
This
Yeah.
I was having Pranav bhai and Dinesh
Mm,
also. I was having an argument with this Buddhist monk the other day. Okay,
mhm,
he's a YouTuber. I don't know his name.
okay.
On a couple of occasions, one was on food and the other was on related to the attire. In the video, he was saying that Buddhists believe that shaving your head, you are detaching yourself from everything. You're shaving your head.
Hmm.
Okay, you're not trying to be someone. And my simple question, which any normal human being would ask is, then man, why are you shaving your head? By shaving your head, you are trying to portray yourself as someone. Why are you shaving your head? You naturally we have hairs, let them grow. Why are you shaving it? Why are you trying to portray yourself as a Buddhist monk? That's also attaching yourself. They say that we do not
Yeah.
waste our time to groom ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, if
Yeah.
I'm grooming my beard, then boy, you are also grooming your head. You're shaving your head every day. You are even if you're spending 2 minutes every day to shave your head, that's your time which you are giving to shaving your head and to represent yourself as someone else. So that is what, and he had no answer for that. He said, "This is
Yeah.
what we have been told." So I said, "Where is your intuition? You are That's what it is."
That's the
blind
thing.
trust
That's the
follow.
thing with every Isha Foundation follower also. Like
Hmm.
whatever Sadhguru says, since he relates that to health and relates that to science, people have to believe it. Like
Hmm.
this brings me to the point which I raised just a moment ago, that there is a Mahashivratri night, right? And he says that yeah, it's okay for you to do anything, but if you do this, it would be beneficial for you. This is scientifically proven, and if you don't do this, this would be harmful for you in some way. Now this is a very radical statement, like this will be harmful for you, anyone
Hmm.
who does not do this.
Hmm.
and and the people who
Uh,
aren't critical would fall for this is my point.
Kevin, I believe Kevin is his name. He is saying Sadhguru started as a irreligious secular mystic, but once BJP came to power, he shifted towards Lord Shiva in Hinduism. Now he is so strong with strong political influence. Ask this to us. I study in Jamia Millia Islamia. He gave a statement during the CA and RC times, which all the students were very infuriated with. He gave one statement. I don't know what the
yeah,
same.
about CA, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
he gave
Yeah.
some
see,
statement.
the thing about, I mean, this is in general about gurus and all like this, okay? Generally, all cults,
Hmm.
all these groups are cults. Take Art of Living, take Sadhguru's Isha Foundation. They're
Hmm.
all to some extent cults. I'm
Hmm.
not saying that everyone who perform or follows Art of Living is part of that cult, but
Hmm.
the innermost circle of Art of Living is definitely a cult. Now, usually these cults have enough people that they are like a vote bank for these politicians. They just want a lot of people voting for them. And if
Hmm.
there's one guy who can get a lot of people following him to say, go vote for this guy,
Yeah.
that's
Hmm.
what the politician wants. So obviously, Narendra Modi would support Sadhguru if he makes a political statement.
Exactly.
Now, Sadhguru himself would make a political statement that
Yeah, they like supporting each
that
other.
Hmm.
exactly, and that becomes like an endless cycle that goes on and on.
Exactly. Exactly.
And Pranab bhai, what the thing is, Sadhguru is somewhere or the other promoting spirituality. And this is
Mhm.
where people say that spirituality is being taken wrong in today's society and generation. That spirituality means you are nowhere near to all these nationality, religion, politics, media. It's an illusion. It's things, these are things to keep people engaged with in battles.
Yeah.
So if Sadhguru trying to promote something even if subconsciously he's trying to plant seeds in our mind, which he did in CNRC during the times of CNRC,
Hmm.
then you're not promoting spirituality. Your words may be very wise. You may be a wise man, and you might be very good at speaking and manipulating people, not manipulating people, influencing people.
Yeah.
Sorry, I used the wrong word. But somewhere or the other, you are driving away from the essence of
Main
spirituality, which
purpose.
is
Yeah.
illusion.
Hmm.
Which is illusion and following your own intuition, which is what I learned when I did meditation. Whatever knowledge, wisdom, people might not think this as wisdom, but I believe whatever I'm able to articulate, this was after 2 or 3 months of meditation, which when I sat down with myself alone, and I let the voices of all the people, media, politics, and all the people around me, be it my parents, be it my friends, I let those voices settle down. And
Yeah.
then I found what the true essence of life is. That is what meditation is. These people are just driving the car all around the place, not coming to the
Exactly.
core point, is to
Exactly.
sit down, reverse engineer your things, what's happening to you, what's your identity.
Exactly.
That's why my channel's name is Identity Faraz, because Faraz is an identity.
Yeah.
At the core level, we all are same, we all are same subconsciously.
Okay,
That's what
so
my
with
message.
that, I would like to bring this one point. So in whatever whatever video you see of Sadhguru, there is an underlying message that this is a human capacity. Oh, my hand is not seen. This is a human capacity, and we are using our capacity till it's very low. To what extent we are using our capacity, and now this the spirituality that he is promoting has become a sort of competition. That I have seen such people that use this use their body to such extent because they were spirituality awakened. So it has almost become competition, and competition is, according to me, a human motivation. It's not something spiritual, according to me. And so what's your thought about this? Like, what does science say about this? Like, the human capacity after meditation is like, does it increase or what happens?
I think meditation has a lot of benefits which
Yeah.
have been
Yeah.
scientifically researched and
Okay.
studied.
Okay.
It actually brings about physical changes in the structure of the brain.
Inside
You
your
can
brain.
it
Yeah.
has been studied
Increases the
with
gray matter.
MRI.
Yeah.
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 Things like meditation, even yoga, has a lot of benefits which have been properly studied also.
Yeah.
But when that is usually packaged with a lot of ideology around it, which is what Faraz earlier said also. Uh, that's what these gurus kind of do. There's a lot of ideology also that they bring along with their meditation and all these practices. I mean, if meditation is what is useful for you, then
Yeah.
you don't need everything else.
Exactly.
It
Exactly.
has a lot of, I mean, it'll help you no matter what, even if you follow the other things also. I'm sorry, what was your question right now? I,
So
I
my
think I'm
question was
going on time.
basically, he shows this idea that human capacity is
Capacity.
yeah.
Yeah, I got it. So I think in that sense, meditation and things like yoga definitely do improve some factors, some human attributes, you could say. But
Yeah.
I've seen his videos on sleep and all. I'm sure you can based on the activities, or if you simply meditate, I think you can bring a lot of calmness to your mind, and whatever hormones and neurotransmitters, your chemistry itself can be brought to a more calmer level. I
Hmm.
think in that sense you will definitely require less sleep, but not to the extent that Sadhguru is claiming. I've seen his videos where he claims he slept for 2.5 hours every single day, which I mean, I'm not completely close to the idea, but someone would have to show it to me, or this would have to be experimentally proven before I believe it.
Yeah.
Right now, based on everything that I've seen, I don't think it's medically possible for such drastic improvements in attributes. I'm sure some improvement is possible, but not such drastic improvements.
Yeah,
Again,
Pranabhai,
yeah.
this is quite absurd. This is what I
Yeah.
also saw. I was seeing a documentary of some Buddhist monks. I don't remember the name, but you may
Mm,
search it out. And they
mm,
were showing that they sleep 3 to 4 hours every day, and what they do is they meditate 30 to 40 minutes to make up for that
mm.
time.
I've also, in along the same lines, I've also read about monks who can meditate and control their body temperature,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
they
yeah,
can
yeah.
sit in freezing snow.
Wim Hof.
And
One example is Wim Hof.
yeah, Wim Hof.
Wim Hof.
Yeah.
So all these are one-off examples, and you can't make generalized statements, conclusions from
Hmm.
things they do. Uh, if you tried the same thing they did, maybe you could die.
Oh,
Maybe they are successful in that because there's some other factor we haven't considered yet. So you before you make a generalized conclusion like whatever Sadhguru says, or even whatever conclusion you want
There
to
should
make,
be some backing behind
there
it.
should be a lot more statistical evidence
Hmm.
before you make a generalized conclusion. That's all.
So for this only sleep experiment,
Mm,
there was this mythological, or was this real, this Russian sleep experiment was also going on, if you have heard of it. And now they
mm,
are experimenting on monks, which they are saying that after a couple of more years, couple of years, they will get to the conclusion, or 3 years, that meditation can make up for your sleep. They're still in the process of this. So meditation is a field which science is now discovering. It was undiscovered. It was like an undiscovered water body,
yeah.
part of water. So now they are discovering. Now the research has started some 15 years ago, and they are saying that at least we need 50 years of research to come to conclusive evidence on how meditation really impacts our body. The
Yeah.
latest evidence say that it increases the capacity of frontal lobes, which are, you know,
For decision
responsible
making,
for
yeah.
our
Decision making and
complex
cognitive.
decision
Yeah.
making and problem solving skills.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that is what I've seen in myself. My creative Pranabai, my
For sure.
creativity has
For sure. For sure.
gone up very much.
Yeah.
Creativity, my depression cured. People said don't do meditation while you are
Mm-hmm.
in depression. And
Mm-hmm.
the most important essence of life that I learned was to stay in this moment. What staying
mm.
in this moment is realizing that whatever I think is just, hovering here and there. So this is what the moment is. So I'm happy in this moment. So happiness is one very big thing which meditation helped me into.
Yeah,
Mm.
and meditation itself
Yeah,
is scientifically proven, right? It improves your
yeah.
happiness index, it improves your cognitive ability,
The
and
happiest man on
yeah.
earth was a monk who had the most amount of gamma radiation, which is used to measure the happiness index. And I
Okay,
I
so
read this.
I think
Yeah,
gamma waves is also when you're like
gamma
you're
waves. Sorry, not radiations. Gamma waves.
yeah, gamma waves are also the brain state where your brain is highly active and you're able to learn faster.
Yeah, I don't know, but
Yeah, I
I
read
heard
about
this
this.
in the book by Jay Shetty. He said he also named the research and the article. I don't remember what he was.
So yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. Pranav, bhai, say.
Remember.
yeah, I think a lot of, so you just mentioned Jay Shetty. I mean, uh, he's been involved in many scams,
Yeah,
right?
that's what I heard of him.
And the thing is, with this, so in general, just bringing this back to our topic,
Hmm.
spirituality as a whole is so vague and so hard to describe. You can definitely give examples of things that are considered spiritual, but you can't really describe what exactly spirituality is. You
Yeah.
can't define what it is, and that that huge vague interpretation
Hmm.
leaves room for a lot of people to claim that these things are spiritual.
Spiritual.
And yeah, and that leaves, that's a reason why there are a lot of scams that come in this under this umbrella of spirituality.
Exactly.
So yeah, I think it's not just spirituality. I think a lot of it's not just uh, gurus giving spiritual advice. There are a lot of financial gurus. Even that has a lot of scams in it. So I just wanna. So one of my favorite creators is there's a channel called Coffeezilla.
Okay.
He does exactly this. He does streams like this where he just goes around exposing all these
Yeah,
fake
Coffeezilla. I
gurus.
think I have watched
Yeah,
one stream on that. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So yeah.
That was my attempt,
Uh,
like when I made that episode Scam Valley. Scam
oh,
Valley.
okay.
But that was basically my personal experience with Mind Valley.
His name is
You
Matthew Ricard. If someone in the chat wants to check it out, they can check it out later on. The research paper on Matthew Ricard, that happy man wala thing.
Okay, okay, okay.
So if they want to check, they can check it out.
Yeah. So, like, also we should look at what Sadhguru's views are on relationship and stuff. So, you know what happens whenever Sadhguru gives tips? He starts with the spirituality circle, then he expands and he keeps on putting conditions on it. Like first, he'll say that you have to meditate for 21 minutes. Then he'll add a layer, eat vegetarian food. Then he'll add one more layer, don't have sex and all. So he's keep on adding, he keep on influencing the decision of people. So he was once asked that how would a person move on or deal with a breakup. His answer was don't get into relationship because because he says that your body has, now this is a point where I need your opinion. Your body has memory, and it has been carrying a lot of memory. And he also added that water memory point which Faraz mentioned earlier in the stream. So what he says that if you have sex with multiple partners, you carry all the miseries and traumas what these guys have, and you won't feel it mentally, but your body will have some sort of discomfort. This is what he mentioned. These are not my words. And let me finish. And now he takes this to another extreme level, that it's not just sex that transfers this memory. Even the touch of a person, like if you just make a simple handshake and simple hug, that will transfer these memories. So yeah, I would want a scientific opinion on this.
dude, how many hands would you have
Yeah,
shaken in your
that's the
life?
thing. That's the thing. Like you can't avoid that. There's a social norm of at least handshaking.
So what I've seen Sadhguru do sometimes is
Before Pranav bhai, before
yeah.
you begin, let me say that please chat, whoever there is in chat, please share this with your friends, whoever is interested in this conversation, please
Yeah,
share it.
man. And
Please
please
bring in more
like,
people.
yeah, yeah.
Please bring in more people. Yeah,
Yeah.
Pranav bhai.
So yeah, what I've seen Sadhguru do sometimes is he like there's DNA now in every single cell,
Yeah,
and he uses the term memory for the data contained in DNA.
yeah,
And when he just keeps using the word memory, and when people hear it, they confuse it for what memory actually means. Memory is like what we remember of events of our past.
yeah.
Now, just because you have data in your DNA doesn't mean you remember things that happened to your ancestors. You don't remember what happened to that mouse ancestor of mine several million years back. You can't remember. This is the problem that happens when you use wrong terminology, when you use words like memory in
Exactly.
the place of something like
Out of
data or
context. Yeah.
information. Yeah. I can give you an example. There's a talk of Sadhguru. He's on stage with Michio Kaku,
Okay.
who was a well-known physicist
He's an
from University
astrophysicist
of New
or
York. Yeah,
theoretical physicist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is a theoretical physicist, I believe, but he's very popular. He's
He's an
very
author, very popular author.
yeah, and he's like he's very popular on media. He's made documentaries and stuff. So on that stage, there was a moderator. Sadhguru started using the word memory for instead of data, and the moderator eventually started using the word. I mean, understanding the word memory as remembering something.
Okay.
Like she started speaking about remembering your
Oh.
ancestors using tools.
Okay.
That's a different kind of memory. Now, uh, when now coming to this point that Dinesh brought up. When you use memory in that sense, you are bound to confuse it with the main meaning of memory, the default meaning of memory,
Okay.
and you don't like. There is no memory of trauma that you will catch from a person like an STD if you have sex with them. That's
Okay.
it. It is. I mean, again, what I see is Sadhguru has a conclusion that he wants to reach, and he comes up with a reasoning that will help him reach the conclusion that he wants to
Exactly.
come to.
Exactly. Yeah.
There are religious reasons why you shouldn't have sex outside of marriage, and to reach a conclusion of let's not have a lot of premarital
Yeah.
sex, he's using this as a reasoning that you will catch these memories of trauma from people you have
Yeah.
sex with. I mean, again,
So
this,
he's like don't see it through the lens of morality, and see it through the lens of science that I am giving you, and then you would be fine. Yeah.
I mean, he can use that as a basis, but the science he says is science is not science. So, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, and the problem here is that
Hmm.
the vast majority of people are not very scientifically inclined. When someone like Sadhguru says something that sounds scientific with a lot of conviction, the way he does,
Hmm.
most people will just believe him, take him for his word. And that's
Yeah.
where I think, and they'll act upon that advice based on, I mean, they'll believe
Sure.
what he says.
Yeah.
That's where I feel some harm can come to people. They're denying them. Like in the case of this advice that Sadhguru says, they're denying themselves beautiful experiences
Dude, like
based on.
I have seen people in the Isha centers who don't even shake their hands, because like I went in front of them and I said hello, and I just gave my hand, and they are like, they're shrinking their body and they are moving away. So yeah, this has happened. So yeah,
Yeah.
people make these choices.
Wait, why were you at an Isha center?
As I said, I was like, I did the inner engineering course, and I also did one more course, and after that I become
You
a
went to
yeah.
Coimbatore?
No.
Okay.
So there's a main center in Coimbatore, and then throughout the country they have these small
Center.
centers.
Okay.
So these are the
Mm.
halls that they book occasionally. So
Okay.
yeah, I went to, and if I tell you the experience of inner engineering, it was amazing, surprisingly. So no matter how much like how much we criticize the science that Sadhguru gives, uh, to certain set of audience it would be helpful, and I would exactly would like to point out which audience this course would should be. If you're attending a course where Sadhguru is not there, it would be damn cheap, first thing. Yeah, and second thing, it would help people who are not determined by themselves. That means there are certain people who can't do things consistently, who don't have any social circle, and whatever social circle that they have is very toxic. But people there, no matter how blindfolded they are damn positive, and you will feel amazing in their company. This was my experience there. I made a very good friendships there.
So
This
are they charging money for that course?
Yeah, course,
Okay, so
yeah.
is that a very huge amount,
No, for
or
me it was 1500,
for how many
because
days?
7 days, and
Okay.
since I was a student, who's not a student, it's 3,000, and it varies from place to place. And where Sadhguru is there, the charge is up to lakhs. It goes
No,
up to
they
lakhs. Yeah,
shouldn't be doing that.
yeah. Where Sadhguru is present, the charge goes up to lakhs.
A
You can
prime
see
example,
where the scam starts to surface, right?
a
Yeah,
prime example of this is Mr. Sandeep Maheshwari, who does everything for free. Mr.
like
Sandeep
he
Maheshwari,
means that a person who's actually providing value, like for
hmm,
free.
value without that money factor.
Mm-hmm. Exactly,
Then
exactly.
you're not helping people. I don't know what his philosophy is, but
Hmm.
then you're not helping people with the you know
The
I don't know what to say.
maybe in the purest form,
I didn't know that he charges money, and in his presence he charges that much amount of money.
a lot.
But
Like
then you're not, if
if
you're
I
providing
if I
yeah.
disclose the revenues, like the funds that they get from different, firstly they ask for donations on their website. Secondly, they have their music line, where they sell their music also. They have their own products and merch, like the yoga mats and stuff like that. They have their trips and treks, where if Sadhguru is there, that charge for per person could range up to 10 lakhs, and there are like hundreds of people out there. Then if you go to any of Isha center and like the main Coimbatore center, and you can live there, so they have bungalows, they earn revenue from there. And then they have courses that, like Bhavaspandana and more advanced courses, like,
Oh, your internet. Huh?
yeah, my internet issue is there.
Hmm.
Yeah,
What's
Faraz
the
is.
where did I stop? Like, what was the last word you heard?
I think you were talking about treks.
Hmm.
When Sadhguru is
Yeah.
present,
So
it goes.
when Sadhguru is present, the per person charge is up to 10 lakhs, and it could range more. And there are like hundreds of people. And after that, I just told that there are some advanced courses that also there's a very heavy charge. And yeah, the main thing, I forgot this. Like, if someone wants to become a Isha Foundation teacher, like a yoga teacher from Isha Foundation University, that's what they call, they charge 6 lakh for 6 months. 6 lakhs for
I
6
will
months, and after
I
that,
will choose to be a pilot instead of that.
yeah, after that you can be a Isha Foundation teacher. So that's the revenue sources of Isha Foundation. That's the reason a guy from Nalsar University, his name is Joe, he kind of criticized Sadhguru with that.
That is, mm,
Yeah, I mean, if you're just watching YouTube videos of Sadhguru, I guess that's harmless.
Hmm.
But if you become such a huge devotee that you're willing to put yourself under such financial burden to go through all this and become a part of Isha Foundation or
Yeah.
whatever, I think that's when I mean, he creates harm to, he does harm to people, in my opinion. But it's very hard to quantify how much good he does and how
Yeah,
much harm he
like
does.
then there is a good side
So,
also. Like,
yeah.
if you just go to Coimbatore center, I have heard from one of their volunteer that they let you stay there. uh, Only condition there is that you have to do some sort of work for them, like either cook or either do the gardening and stuff. So yeah, this is a stuff that, like, many people who would be jobless would be going there.
Acha Pranav bhai, I saw this one video
Mhm.
in which Sadhguru, in front of many people, his ardent fans, he mixed some poison.
Cobra venom, right?
Yeah, and he ingested that. Okay, then many speculations, many these theories went around, and then finally he deciphered it. He was saying that I do yoga every day. This is what he said, Sadhguru.
So,
He said I do yoga, and he said do not try this at home. And when the anchor asked him, why did you do this, and why nothing happened to you? He said, I do yoga and I eat a lot of healthy food, what you people eat, packaged food, this, that, and
So,
I don't have any ulcer in my stomach. So
yeah, the re-
there is no way the venom can seep into my bloodstream, which can cause all those,
uh,
uh, hemotoxins and all those things can cause.
I would like to say that our stream is going to end because yeah, I like scheduled it to 8:30 and I think so it's 8:30
oh
right now.
shit.
Since we started late, I don't think so we would be able to continue. Like, and
Oh,
since the stream felt a little bit incomplete, we would have a second stream like this because there are a lot more topics to be considered. But for now, I think so we have to take a leave.
Okay.
So okay guys, thank you
sure.
so much for being there in our stream, whoever's there till now, and I hope you'll check out their content. This is Identity Faraz and Science is Dope. I'll mention the links in the description. Thank you so much for being there. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dinesh,